Millions of alien ships returned after 30,000 years, expecting an easy victory, but humanity had prepared a surprise they never saw coming. Watch how Earth fights back, and don't forget to subscribe for more. After 30,000 years of absence, the alien fleet finally approached Earth, their massive ships glinting against the dark expanse of space. The commanders, proud and confident, looked down at the blue planet that had once been a key outpost for their civilization. Every officer aboard believed that reclaiming the base would be effortless, as if time had not touched it at all. They imagined the familiar towers, the sprawling structures, and the technology humming with power, waiting for them as if no centuries had passed. The journey across light years had been long but uneventful, and the aliens had used this time to reminisce about the glory of their empire. Memories of their domination over Earth, the experiments, and the resources they had gathered filled their minds. The pride of their ancestors seemed to resonate through the hulls of their ships, giving them an unshakable belief in victory. Even the younger generation, born during the long voyage, had been trained to see Earth as an old prize that would now be easily reclaimed. As the fleet entered the solar system, sensors were activated, scanning for familiar landmarks. The first signals came in, and the aliens' confidence began to waver slightly. Small readings showed signs of change, but the commanders dismissed them as anomalies. Perhaps the planet had shifted naturally over thousands of years, they thought. Perhaps the structures had been buried or partially destroyed. Nothing in their calculations could prepare them for the reality that awaited. Atmospheric entry scans revealed an unusual absence. The base that had once sprawled across the northern hemisphere seemed to have vanished entirely. The familiar energy signatures were gone. The towers and platforms no longer pierced the clouds. Every ship in the fleet sent out repeated scans, trying to find even a fragment of their old stronghold. But all results returned the same shocking truth. Nothing remained where it had once stood. The alien commanders began to feel unease, a sensation unfamiliar in their long history of conquests. Messages were sent between ships, confirming that every sensor reported the same emptiness. Panic whispered through the ranks like a ghost. They had expected decay, weathering, perhaps even overgrowth, but never complete disappearance. How could a planet erase the marks of a civilization so thoroughly? Their minds raced with possibilities, from natural cataclysms to unknown enemies capable of feats beyond imagination. The younger aliens watched their elders, sensing the change in atmosphere. The veterans of past campaigns struggled to maintain composure, trying to uphold the dignity of command, while their minds reeled with confusion. Debates erupted over what this could mean. Was this a trick, some ancient trap left behind by enemies or even humans? Was the planet hiding something from them? Or had time itself played a cruel joke? Desperate to find answers, the fleet spread out, sending probes and drones into every possible direction. The devices scanned mountains, oceans, deserts, and forests, but all they found were natural landscapes, untouched by the hands of their ancestors. The aliens could not reconcile their expectations with the reality before them. Each ship now felt like a floating island of uncertainty, as if the universe itself questioned their understanding. Even as the initial shock settled, a sense of determination began to surface. The commanders reminded themselves of their duty and their history. They had survived wars, cosmic storms, and internal revolts. Surely they could face this mystery as well. Plans were drafted to descend to the surface, to investigate firsthand. The belief that they would restore their base, or at least understand its fate, became their immediate obsession. Unknown to them, the planet had changed in ways no alien calculations could have predicted. Humanity had evolved, landscapes had shifted, and nature had reclaimed areas once dominated by technology. The aliens saw only emptiness, but beneath the surface, a civilization far stronger and smarter than they imagined was preparing to face them. The return, which had begun as a confident journey of reclamation, was about to transform into a challenge unlike anything they had ever faced. Every ship adjusted its trajectory, every commander issued orders, and every crew member braced for what they thought would be a simple mission. The return was not just a journey across space, it was a confrontation with time itself. A reminder that even the mightiest civilizations could be unprepared for the unexpected. The aliens had come back, but Earth would not welcome them as they imagined, and their confidence built over millennia was about to face its first true test. As the alien fleet hovered above the planet, their sensors continued to sweep the surface, searching desperately for their lost base. Every scan returned the same unsettling result: a barren landscape with no trace of their structures. No energy signatures, no remnants of technology, not even a faint outline where their installations had once stood. Confusion and disbelief rippled through the fleet, and the aliens struggled to understand how their civilization's mark could vanish so completely. The commanders called emergency meetings on their flagship, their voices filled with tension. Orders and data reports were exchanged at lightning speed, yet none of the results made sense. Some suggested the base might have been destroyed by a natural disaster, perhaps a massive earthquake or volcanic eruption. Others argued that unknown forces, possibly enemies or humans, could have erased everything with superior technology. Every suggestion seemed both plausible and impossible, heightening the unease that gnawed at them. The younger crew members, trained to believe in alien superiority and predictability, watched the older officers with worry. The veterans' calm and confident demeanor cracked under the weight of uncertainty. For the first time in recorded history, the aliens faced a situation where their expectations were completely shattered. Fear quietly spread through the ranks, a feeling rarely experienced by a civilization that had dominated countless worlds. The absence of the base was not just a tactical problem. It was an emotional blow to their pride. Drones and probes were launched in greater numbers, sweeping over mountains, rivers, forests, and deserts. Yet every device returned the same shocking news. Nothing remained. Only Earth's natural beauty and its vast, untouched landscape stretched as far as the sensors could see. The aliens struggled to reconcile their memories of the base with this empty reality. Every calculation, every historical record seemed suddenly irrelevant. Their once comfortable certainty about their dominance evaporated in an instant. The fleet moved lower, descending cautiously, their ships casting enormous shadows over the planet. The closer they got, the more they realized that something extraordinary had occurred. The base had not just been damaged or abandoned, it had been completely erased. Even ancient structures that should have survived centuries of neglect were gone without a trace. The aliens had expected decay, overgrowth, or at worst, partial destruction, but total disappearance defied all logic. Whispers of conspiracy began circulating among the officers. Some speculated that humans had secretly evolved into a species capable of feats far beyond their imagination. Others wondered if a rival alien force had intervened during the millennia of absence. The questions multiplied faster than answers could be found, and anxiety grew into fear. The commanders tried to maintain order, but even they could not hide the unease in their voices. Attempts to communicate with their long-lost installations failed repeatedly. No automated systems responded, no signals came back. The silence was deafening, as if the planet itself refused to acknowledge their presence. The aliens had expected familiarity, a return to what once was, but instead faced a void, a blank canvas that mocked their expectations. Each moment of waiting for a response felt like an eternity, intensifying their frustration and panic. Even as the fleet attempted to analyze every possible explanation, tension inside the ships reached a breaking point. Crew members argued over interpretations of the scans, theories of what could have happened, and strategies for moving forward. Some called for immediate descent to the surface, hoping to uncover clues firsthand. Others demanded a cautious approach, fearing unknown dangers lurking below. The fleet teetered on the edge of chaos, with no clear path forward. As hours passed, the realization slowly sank in. The aliens were not facing a simple problem that could be solved with technology, logic, or brute force. They were facing a mystery that stretched across millennia, one that challenged their understanding of time, space, and even their own history. The shock of the vanished base forced them to confront a truth they had never considered. Earth had changed in ways they could not predict, and their assumptions about control and dominance were fragile at best. The alien leaders convened once more, this time in a more somber mood. Plans to reclaim the base were replaced by questions of survival and adaptation. Every strategy now had to consider the unknown. Every decision carried weight beyond military objectives. It was clear that the return to Earth would not be a triumphant reclamation, but a confrontation with uncertainty. And the first seeds of fear, doubt, and anticipation of an unexpected challenge had firmly taken root within the alien fleet. The alien fleet, shaken by the shocking absence of their base, began deploying reconnaissance teams to investigate the planet's surface more closely. Ships split into smaller units, scanning valleys, mountains, oceans, and deserts with ever-increasing intensity. The commanders hoped that a closer look might reveal hidden structures or clues that sensors from orbit had missed. Every probe and drone moved like a precise extension of the fleet's will. Yet each returned the same perplexing report: emptiness. The ground teams, armored and equipped with advanced technology, touched down on what had once been the location of the sprawling alien base. The landscape appeared ordinary to the human eye: forests and rivers stretching across plains, mountains rising sharply against the sky. But for the aliens, it was disorienting. Every coordinate where structures should have existed held nothing but soil, stone, and vegetation. No remnants of foundations, no energy nodes, no trace of their ancient machinery. Frustration and confusion began to spread among the alien ranks. The commanders argued constantly, debating possible explanations for the disappearance. Some believed a massive natural disaster must have erased the base completely. A volcanic eruption, earthquake, or meteor strike capable of removing everything. Others speculated that perhaps another alien race, one more powerful and cunning than themselves, had intervened in their absence. The fleet's usual confidence gave way to tension, uncertainty coloring every decision. As the reconnaissance continued, anomalies began to appear, small but strange. Scattered patches of ground seemed altered, barely detectable shifts in energy readings suggested past activity. The aliens tried to interpret these subtle clues, but their centuries-old technology, designed for dominance rather than subtlety, struggled to process them. Each day brought more questions than answers, and the fleet's morale, once unshakable, began to waver. The young crew members, untested in real danger, began whispering about legends of Earth's resilience, a planet that could hide its secrets. The deeper the aliens explored, the more they realized how little they truly understood the world they had once controlled. Rivers had changed course. Forests had spread into areas that had been deserts. Mountains appeared eroded or reshaped in ways that no human calculation could have predicted. Time had worked quietly, methodically, reshaping Earth in ways that even their advanced sensors could barely measure. The base, a symbol of their ancient power, had vanished into history, leaving them disoriented and exposed. Drones sent further afield reported signs of intelligent design, but unlike anything the aliens had known, there were no towers or massive machines, no fortified walls or energy fields. Instead, subtle patterns in the terrain hinted at organized thought, clever constructions blending seamlessly into the environment. The fleet struggled to interpret these results. It was as if the planet itself had been quietly modified, shaped by an intelligence that had grown far beyond the aliens' expectations. Commanders began holding frequent strategy sessions, their usual arrogance replaced by cautious speculation. Could humans, the species they had once considered primitive, be responsible for these changes? Could they have adapted and hidden their presence over thousands of years? The possibility that the planet's original inhabitants had become a force to be reckoned with gnawed at their pride. For the first time, the aliens considered that Earth might no longer be an easy prize. Meanwhile, the reconnaissance teams encountered subtle defenses, automated traps, and clever environmental manipulations, designed not to destroy, but to confuse and mislead intruders. The aliens realized that their technology, so advanced in its time, was not infallible. The humans or whoever had shaped this world had learned from the aliens, adapted alien technology in ways that made the planet unpredictable. Each encounter reinforced the notion that Earth had changed from a conquered world to a challenge. As weeks passed, a pattern began to emerge, faint and hard to discern. The areas where the base had once stood were no longer empty in potential, but filled with signs of human planning and preparation. Not overtly aggressive, but strategically intelligent, capable of turning any advantage the aliens might have into a trap. It became clear that whoever had erased the base had done more than remove structures. They had reshaped the battlefield itself, forcing the aliens to rethink every tactic they had ever used. The reconnaissance efforts, initially intended as a simple fact-finding mission, transformed into an exercise in caution, adaptation, and respect for an intelligence the aliens had never expected to encounter. Every step forward required careful analysis. Every scan had to be interpreted through the lens of uncertainty. The aliens realized that their return was no longer a simple reclamation. It was the beginning of a confrontation with a civilization that had anticipated their coming and was prepared to challenge them in ways that had been unimaginable. By the end of the missions, the fleet understood a new truth. The mystery of the vanished base was not just a puzzle of technology or nature, but a demonstration of the planet's and humanity's evolving resilience. The aliens had come expecting familiarity, dominance, and control, but all they found was a world transformed, a silent warning that their assumptions were no longer valid, and that the real struggle for Earth was about to begin. Beneath the surface of Earth, hidden from alien sensors and reconnaissance drones, a new human civilization had grown over thousands of years. Humans had advanced far beyond what the aliens remembered, their technology not only matching, but in some ways surpassing the alien systems. Cities were built with clever designs that blended seamlessly into the natural environment. Energy sources were efficient and powerful, and defensive systems were integrated quietly into the landscape. No alien probe could detect the full extent of their capabilities. The humans watched the alien fleet with careful patience. Their leaders understood that the return of the ancient visitors was inevitable, and preparations had been underway for centuries. Every generation had trained, studied, and improved upon alien technology, learning from historical accounts, preserved artifacts, and simulations. Humans had become strategic, methodical, and disciplined, mastering skills the aliens had once thought were impossible for a primitive species. Human scientists and engineers monitored every movement of the fleet from underground control centers. The moment an alien ship entered orbit, alerts were triggered, protocols initiated, and analysis began. They knew exactly where the ships would scan first, where drones would be deployed, and how the aliens would likely respond to the unexpected absence of their base. It was not chance that allowed humans to stay hidden. It was preparation, intelligence, and understanding of alien psychology. The leaders of this human civilization were cautious yet confident. They did not underestimate the aliens, but they also knew their own strengths. Over centuries, humanity had developed weapons and technologies capable of matching the alien fleet in strategic effectiveness. Defensive shields and rapid response systems were ready to protect their planet. The humans had created layers of deception, camouflage, and misinformation, ensuring that alien sensors would see only what humans wanted them to see. In addition to technology, humans had trained their people to react quickly and decisively. Military forces were highly skilled. Understanding both alien tactics and potential weaknesses, strategists had run simulations over countless scenarios, ensuring that every soldier, pilot, and operator could execute complex plans under extreme pressure. The combination of advanced technology and trained intelligence made humanity a force that even the most confident alien commanders could not ignore. As the aliens attempted to find their base, humans observed silently, learning their behavior, predicting their actions. Every move the aliens made was cataloged, analyzed, and used to improve human readiness. It became clear that humans had turned the centuries of alien absence into an opportunity to study, adapt, and evolve. What the aliens thought was an empty, primitive world was actually a highly prepared and intelligent civilization, capable of turning any situation to their advantage. The humans had also developed communication networks that were undetectable by alien instruments. Coordinated command centers allowed leaders to share real-time data and adjust strategies instantly. Teams on the surface, underground, and even in orbit communicated seamlessly, ensuring that humans could respond to alien maneuvers faster than the aliens could anticipate. Every part of their civilization worked together as a unified system, ready to defend Earth from any threat. Despite their hidden strength, humans did not act rashly. They understood the importance of observation, patience, and timing. Allowing the aliens to waste resources, exhaust drones, and confront the planet without full knowledge gave humans a strategic advantage. They were not simply hiding, they were controlling the flow of information, shaping the battlefield in ways the aliens could not perceive. Every scan that returned nothing reinforced the humans' position, giving them confidence that their planning was succeeding. Some humans walked among the surface cities, blending with normal life, appearing as ordinary citizens. Yet these individuals were trained to act at a moment's notice, ready to engage if an alien landing occurred. The civilization was layered with hidden depths, underground cities, and secret operations centers, all interconnected to ensure survival and superiority. The aliens' assumption that Earth remained primitive was about to be shattered in a spectacular demonstration of human preparedness. Human leaders discussed strategies openly among themselves, aware that their intelligence and coordination were their greatest weapons. They had waited thousands of years for this moment, and the alien return marked the culmination of centuries of preparation. Every technological innovation, every tactical improvement, every training exercise had been building toward this confrontation. The humans were ready, vigilant and confident, prepared to challenge the aliens who had once underestimated them. As the alien fleet scanned, explored, and struggled to find their base, humans remained hidden, watching, calculating, and preparing. The stage was set for a confrontation that the aliens could not foresee. The planet, once seemingly quiet and weak, was alive with intelligence, strategy, and readiness. The return of the aliens had awakened a civilization that had grown stronger, smarter, and more capable than ever. Earth was no longer a prize waiting to be claimed. It was a battleground where humanity was fully prepared to fight and defend their home. A small alien landing party descended through Earth's atmosphere, their sleek ships cutting through clouds as they approached the coordinates where their base had once stood. The aliens were confident that this first step onto the planet's surface would reveal the remnants of their installation, a chance to reclaim what they believed was rightfully theirs. Yet as the ground grew closer, the familiar structures they expected to see were nowhere in sight. Only empty plains, scattered rocks, and forests stretching beyond their sensors. As the landing party touched down, humans, long hidden and prepared for this moment, observed silently from concealed positions. Advanced camouflage and terrain blending allowed them to remain invisible to the alien technology. Every movement of the landing team was monitored, every sensor reading analyzed. Humans knew the aliens would explore cautiously, and patience became their greatest weapon. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reveal how much humanity had evolved. The aliens deployed ground teams, stepping out in armored suits equipped with scanning devices and weapons. They moved with the precision of centuries-old training, confident that any threat could be handled easily. Yet, from hidden bunkers and forests, humans silently activated defensive measures, small but effective traps designed to slow, confuse, and test the intruders. Nothing was intended to destroy immediately. It was a demonstration of human intelligence and tactical superiority. As the alien teams moved through the landscape, they began to encounter unexpected resistance. Sensors went haywire, readings were interrupted, and some drones were intercepted. The aliens exchanged puzzled glances, unable to determine the source of interference. Every anomaly forced them to slow down, reassess, and question their assumptions. What they thought would be a simple survey turned into a perplexing challenge, testing both their technology and their patience. Humans carefully coordinated their movements, communicating through secure, undetectable channels. Operators guided soldiers and defense systems in real time, predicting alien actions and countering them before the aliens could react. Ambushes were precise, intelligence-driven, and non-lethal at first, designed to confuse and demonstrate control. Every encounter highlighted the difference between raw power and strategic thinking. The aliens, though technologically advanced, had never faced an opponent so patient and calculated. The first confrontation occurred when an alien team approached what should have been the main command center. Hidden human units triggered automated decoys, energy fields, and sensory illusions. The aliens fired weapons at what seemed to be threats, only to find empty ground or harmless projections. Their confidence wavered, and some crew members began to argue about the accuracy of their sensors. The humans watched every reaction, noting weaknesses, tendencies, and patterns that could be exploited in future actions. As tension escalated, the landing party realized that humans were not only aware of their presence, but were also controlling the flow of engagement. Every step forward became a calculated risk. Every decision carried consequences that were difficult to anticipate. The aliens had come expecting passive resistance or an abandoned world, but instead, they faced a civilization capable of intelligence, foresight, and tactical ingenuity. Their centuries of assumed superiority were being challenged in real time. In addition to physical defenses, humans used electronic warfare, hacking alien drones and communication networks, redirecting them to harmless areas or causing confusion within the ranks. Alien teams struggled to maintain coordination, their usual superiority undermined by humans who had studied their technology extensively. Every misstep increased frustration and doubt. The landing party realized that they were no longer the hunters. They had become participants in a carefully orchestrated test of skill and patience. Despite the growing pressure, alien leaders tried to maintain discipline, issuing orders to regroup, scan again, and proceed cautiously. Yet the initial encounters had left an impression, subtle but undeniable. Humans were not primitive. They were organized, prepared, and fully aware of alien strategies. Every success in the field reinforced the humans' confidence, and they began planning the next phase of engagement, knowing that their civilization could handle even a superior alien force. By the end of the first day on the surface, the aliens understood the magnitude of what they faced. Their landing party had been challenged in ways they had never anticipated. Each small victory the humans allowed themselves demonstrated not brute force, but intelligence, planning, and preparation. The aliens, though still formidable, were confronted with the realization that Earth was no longer a simple prize to reclaim, and that every move forward would be met with careful resistance. Humans remained hidden, yet in control, watching the aliens struggle, studying their reactions, and preparing to escalate only when the time was right. What the aliens assumed would be a straightforward reconnaissance had transformed into a test of human ingenuity and strategy. The battle had begun, but it was not fought with overwhelming firepower yet. It was fought in minds, tactics, and foresight. And the landing party had already learned that humans were not to be underestimated. The human commander stepped forward cautiously, observing the alien landing party from a concealed position. Every movement, gesture, and weapon deployment was analyzed before deciding the next action. Humans had prepared for this moment for centuries, studying alien behavior, technology, and tactics. Their knowledge of alien systems allowed them to anticipate every move, turning what could have been a chaotic confrontation into a controlled demonstration of strategy. When the first alien approached what they assumed to be the central command zone, the human commander activated communication channels that the aliens could not detect. Coordinating teams across the area, humans guided the deployment of defenses, sensors, and traps with precision. The aliens, confident in their technology, were caught off guard. Every step they took met with resistance or interference, subtly demonstrating that humans had adapted and learned from their previous observations of alien strategies. The commander revealed a small but sophisticated device, one that intercepted alien communication signals, allowing humans to monitor their intentions in real time. Through this, humans could predict which drones would be launched, where ground teams would move, and how the aliens would react to environmental changes. Every prediction proved accurate, further unnerving the alien commanders. They realized that humans had not only learned from alien technology, but had mastered it, creating an advantage that was invisible but powerful. As the first direct encounter unfolded, the alien team attempted to engage what they thought were isolated human units, only to find that each movement had been anticipated, decoy systems activated, and attack vectors neutralized. Confusion spread among the alien ranks, and arguments began among their officers about the reliability of their sensors and calculations. Their centuries of assumed superiority seemed less certain. Every failed attempt to gain control highlighted the humans' intelligence, training, and tactical brilliance. The human commander stepped forward again, choosing a moment to communicate directly. Not through words the aliens could understand, but through displays of strategic capability. Coordinated actions showed that humans had integrated alien technology into their own systems. Using modified energy shields, automated drones, and precise countermeasures, they created a network of defense and observation far beyond what the aliens expected. The landing party could no longer rely on brute force alone, and every action became a calculated risk. As the humans revealed their mastery, the aliens began to understand the magnitude of the situation. They had assumed that the planet's inhabitants were primitive and scattered, incapable of coordinated thought or advanced technology. The commander's tactical decisions proved otherwise, showing that humans had studied, adapted, and improved upon every aspect of alien systems they had encountered. For the first time in thousands of years, the aliens felt a mix of awe and fear, recognizing that Earth was no longer a world to dominate, but a force to respect. The confrontation intensified as humans carefully escalated their actions, still avoiding unnecessary destruction. Demonstrations of power were precise and calculated, designed to show capability rather than cause casualties. The aliens' confidence began to erode, replaced by caution and hesitation. Every movement had to be reconsidered, every plan reassessed. As humans controlled the battlefield through intelligence, anticipation, and superior coordination, the aliens realized that their assumptions had been dangerously wrong. The human commander, aware of the psychological effect on the aliens, used every opportunity to reinforce this realization. Coordinated drone displays, energy shield manipulations, and controlled tactical maneuvers created the impression of a civilization far more advanced than the aliens could have imagined. Each action subtly communicated a message. Humanity had evolved, adapted, and was prepared to defend itself. The aliens' arrogance, built over centuries of dominance, began to crumble, replaced by uncertainty and wariness. By the end of the encounter, the aliens faced a profound revelation. Humans were not only capable of fighting back, they were capable of outthinking them, adapting faster than expected, and integrating alien technology into effective strategies. What they had assumed would be a simple reclamation had become a humbling lesson, showing that time, intelligence, and preparation could overcome raw technological superiority. The alien commanders now understood that Earth's human civilization had grown into a formidable opponent, ready to challenge them at every turn. The human commander withdrew his visible units strategically, leaving the aliens to question what they had witnessed. This controlled withdrawal reinforced the sense of intelligence and calculated restraint, showing that humans did not act recklessly, but with precision, thought, and planning. The aliens, stunned by the demonstration, began to reconsider every tactic they had ever relied upon. Every sensor reading and strategy now had to factor in the humans' unexpected ingenuity. As the sun set over the landing area, the alien teams regrouped, shaken but still formidable. The human commander remained vigilant, knowing that the next phase of engagement would be even more decisive. The revelation had been made clear. Humans had not only survived, but had outsmarted the aliens in the first direct encounter, transforming the dynamic of the confrontation. Earth was no longer a conquered planet. It was a battleground where intelligence, strategy, and adaptability had the power to redefine the rules. The battle began with a thunderous roar as the alien fleet engaged in orbit, massive ships firing energy beams that lit up the sky. Humans responded with a combination of ingenuity, strategy, and technology adapted from the aliens themselves. Orbital defense platforms activated, intercepting missiles and redirecting energy attacks. Humans had planned for every eventuality, and their coordination was seamless. The alien commanders were shocked to find that their superior firepower was being countered at every turn. On the ground, human forces moved swiftly, using advanced vehicles, drones, and automated defense systems to create overlapping fields of protection. Alien landing parties that had hoped for quick victories found themselves navigating complex trap zones, energy barriers, and cleverly concealed ambushes. Every step the aliens took was predicted and countered, demonstrating the humans' mastery of both terrain and technology. The aliens realized that their advantage in numbers and raw firepower was being neutralized by superior planning. The humans executed coordinated strikes, drawing alien forces into carefully designed kill zones. While the aliens fired relentlessly, they were forced to retreat in some areas, regroup in others, and constantly adapt. The human commanders had studied alien tactics for centuries, understanding their tendencies, weaknesses, and behavioral patterns. Every maneuver exploited these patterns, allowing humans to inflict damage without unnecessary risk. The aliens began to experience frustration and confusion, emotions rare among a species long accustomed to dominance. As the battle intensified, human pilots engaged alien ships in daring aerial maneuvers. Using advanced propulsion systems and predictive targeting, they struck vulnerable points in the alien vessels, causing critical damage without exposing themselves unnecessarily. Orbital satellites provided real-time intelligence, guiding every attack with precision. The aliens were forced to split their attention between multiple fronts, unable to focus on a single objective. Their confidence wavered as losses mounted and strategies failed to achieve decisive results. Human ground forces complemented orbital actions, launching counterattacks against alien landing sites. Automated turrets, energy shields, and human squads worked in unison, preventing the aliens from establishing footholds. Communication between units was instantaneous, secure, and encrypted, making it impossible for the aliens to intercept or disrupt coordination. Every failed alien advance reinforced humanity's dominance in tactics, turning the battle into a test of adaptability rather than brute strength. Amid the chaos, humans revealed another layer of strategy: the use of decoys, holographic projections, and misdirection. Alien sensors struggled to differentiate real threats from illusions, causing hesitation, misfired attacks, and operational errors. What appeared as simple deception was actually a sophisticated psychological tactic, weakening the alien resolve. The aliens began to realize that humans were not only physically and technologically capable, but also mentally agile, able to anticipate and manipulate alien decision-making. The tide of the battle shifted decisively as humans targeted the alien command structures, both in orbit and on the surface. Coordinated strikes disabled communication arrays, energy cores, and supply lines, creating confusion and slowing the alien response. Alien ships became isolated, unable to support each other, while ground teams faced overwhelming resistance from multiple directions. The humans, patient and methodical, exploited every weakness, demonstrating a level of strategic coordination that stunned even the most experienced alien commanders. Alien morale began to deteriorate as ships were destroyed and ground parties were forced into retreat. Their centuries of arrogance gave way to fear and uncertainty. The humans, on the other hand, maintained discipline and coordination, adapting to every new move. Every victory was calculated to maximize impact while conserving resources, showing that human strength was not only in technology, but in intelligence, planning, and resilience. The battle was no longer about alien superiority. It was about human ingenuity overcoming assumed dominance. The aliens attempted desperate maneuvers, trying to regroup and overwhelm human positions. But every tactic was anticipated. Every route had been mapped, every strategy countered. The humans' preparation over millennia had paid off, transforming what the aliens expected to be an easy conquest into a calculated defeat. Ground and orbital forces moved in harmony, demonstrating an unprecedented level of coordination. Each human unit, whether on foot, in vehicles, or in satellites, acted as part of a single, synchronized force. By the end of the confrontation, the surviving alien fleet was battered, disorganized, and demoralized. Unable to maintain their offensive, they were forced to retreat from Earth's orbit. Their assumptions of superiority shattered. The aliens understood that humanity had not only defended the planet, but had proven themselves capable of defeating a technologically advanced and historically dominant civilization. Humans stood victorious, their strategy, intelligence, and adaptability rewriting the rules of engagement. Earth was no longer a world to conquer. It was a planet defended by an extraordinary civilization ready for any challenge. The surviving aliens retreated into deep space, their massive ships scarred and damaged, morale shattered by the unexpected resistance. They had returned expecting dominance and easy reclamation. But instead, they faced a human civilization that had outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outlasted them. As the fleet disappeared beyond the atmosphere, the humans allowed themselves a moment to observe. knowing that the immediate threat had passed, yet understanding that vigilance would always be required. On the planet, human commanders assessed the battlefield, taking note of every detail. The orbital defense systems remained active, ground patrols secured strategic points, and surveillance continued uninterrupted. Even though the aliens had retreated, humans knew that complacency could be dangerous. The lessons learned in this battle would shape training, tactics, and technology for generations to come. Ensuring that Earth remained prepared for any future threats, civilian areas began to recover from the initial shock as the population, long trained and ready, emerged from hidden shelters. Their confidence was renewed by the demonstration of humanity's strength, organization, and intelligence. People celebrated quietly, knowing that the battle had been won not by sheer force alone, but by careful planning, strategy, and preparation. The planet itself, once seemingly passive, now felt alive with a civilization fully aware of its capabilities and ready to defend its home. The human leaders convened in secure command centers to evaluate the outcome, analyzing every alien maneuver. Every failure, hesitation, and miscalculation by the aliens was studied, ensuring that no advantage would be left unexplored. Plans were drafted to improve defenses further, integrating lessons learned from the confrontation into training and technological development. Humans were determined to remain not only prepared but superior in strategic capability, ensuring that no alien would ever underestimate Earth again. Communication networks buzzed with updates, confirming that all sectors had remained secure. Each human unit, from surface squads to orbital monitoring stations, reported minimal casualties and maximum efficiency. The alien retreat allowed humans to consolidate their positions, repair defenses, and strengthen planetary security. Every sensor, drone, and automated system was recalibrated to anticipate possible future incursions. The humans' foresight and preparation had turned a potentially catastrophic threat into a demonstration of resilience and mastery. In the aftermath, humans reflected on the centuries of preparation that had led to this victory. Every innovation, every study of alien technology, every simulation and strategy session had contributed to the successful defense. The humans understood that their advantage lay not only in weapons or shields, but in intelligence, adaptability, and unity. The aliens had returned expecting weakness, but they found a species capable of thinking, planning, and executing on a level they had never imagined. Reports from reconnaissance units indicated that the alien fleet had left behind damaged drones and equipment. Offering humans a treasure trove of data, scientists and engineers began analyzing every component, every piece of technology, looking for opportunities to further enhance human capabilities. The aliens' own systems, once thought superior, were now instruments of learning for humanity, providing insights that would strengthen Earth's defenses even more. The battle had not only been a victory, but a chance to grow stronger, smarter, and more prepared. Human morale soared as the realization spread. Earth was no longer a passive world waiting to be claimed. It had transformed into a planet defended by a civilization capable of extraordinary planning, intelligence, and courage. Every human, from commanders to civilians, understood that their home was secure because of centuries of preparation, dedication, and unity. The aliens had returned expecting dominance but had left in defeat, humbled by a species they had long underestimated. As humans looked to the skies, they were aware that the galaxy was vast and full of potential threats, yet they no longer feared them. Their confidence was grounded not in arrogance, but in knowledge, preparation, and proven capability. Earth had survived the return of its ancient visitors, and in doing so, had proven that humanity could face even the most advanced civilizations and prevail. The battle had reshaped the balance of power, signaling to any who might threaten Earth that this planet was defended by a species that would not yield. The leaders addressed the population, emphasizing vigilance, learning, and unity. The story of the alien return and defeat became a symbol of human resilience, determination, and intelligence, inspiring future generations to value knowledge, preparation, and cooperation above all. The planet had endured, humanity had triumphed, and a new era began. An era where Earth was no longer just a home, but a fortress, a beacon of strength, strategy, and readiness, ready to face any challenge that the galaxy might present.